Hi Mama dear, so we're going to report the grade 5, which is have a 4 quarter, first, second, third, and fourth. So I'll be present the first quarter. So first is we have elements. So elements have lines, cross-hatching techniques to stimulate three-dimensional effect and visual picture. So when we say lines, so it is very understandable. And of course, when we say geometric shapes, it is like, for example, circle, triangle, rectangle, square. And of course, dimensional forms, it is like, for example, pyramids, cube, cone, and sphere. So next is cross hatching. So for the beginners, so example is when you draw a circle or a box, then you will color it using a lightness to darkness color. So like for example, here is the so with the circle, then here is the darkness, medium, and the lightness. So next is space. So of course, distance of an area. So like for example, when you draw anything, so it needs space to make it more comfortable. And then next is second is the principle. So rhythm, it is a visual or auditory pattern created by repeated shapes, elements, colors, sounds, and movements. So magbalik-balik yung lines or yung pattern. And of course, repeated motif ang rhythm. When we say balance, like for example, is the symmetrical and asymmetrical. So when you draw or when you create like a design on your bond paper, so much more like for example here this is a bond paper, like for example this is a bond paper, and then when you there's a design here and also here, but here it is a space, no design. So it is like for balance. So second, so drawing of archaeological artifacts. So example are stone tools, metal, and objects. So a learning competencies is the learner identifies events, practices, and culture influenced by colonizers who have come to our country by way of trading. Next is appreciate the importance of artifacts, houses, clothes, language, lifestyle, utensils, food pottery, furniture influenced by colonizers who have come to our country. So like for example, Manang culture, Balanghay, Bahay na Batu, Kundiman, Gabaldon schools, and etc. Next is gives the illusion of depth distance to stimulate a dimensional effect by using cross-hatching and shading techniques in drawings. So next is shows, describes, and names significance parts of the different architectural designs and artifacts found in the locality. Like for example, by Kubo, and like for example, a church, simbahan. So 4 is realizes that our archipelago is strategically located and made as part of a vibrant trading tradition. Like for example, Chinese merchants, Argolian trade, self traders. Next is to create illusions of space in dimensional drawings of important archaeological artifacts seen in books.
In continuation, for second quarter grade 5, the elements of art, which is lines, cross-hatching technique to stimulate three-dimensional effect and visual texture. So, cross-hatching technique, it makes realistic view. It is also the layering of multiple lines to achieve tone, which includes darkness and lightness. So, number 2, shapes and forms. Diri masulod ang geometric three-dimensional forms, which is the circle, rectangle, triangle, and square. It also takes outlines. Third is space, distance, or area. It is the most important to have distance and area. It's because it can make our works presentable and realistic in view. So the second element of art is principle. Under sa principle is rhythm. So, rhythm, repeated motifs. So, ang motifs is a pattern. For example, mo draw kag circle. So, pwede mo siya ikuan sa iska kuan palitan ban paper mo drawing kag kuan pila ka circle niya which is repeated. So, the next is balance. Symmetrical or asymmetrical. Its meaning is two sides are different in some way. Unsymmetrical is two sides are something identical. In asymmetrical, it is two sides are different in some way. So the third is process. In drawing, the students draw archaeological artifacts. So archaeological artifacts is an object that it was created, modified, and used by humans in the past. Drawing of Philippine houses, buildings, and churches from different historical periods on the spot. So, we go on to learning episode. First, identifies the importance of natural and historical places in the community that have been designated as World Heritage Site, which is example the rice terraces in Banawe. The second is make maka-identify or makailang mga estudyante o mga architectural or mga natural na features sa mga lugar na atuan nila or makita nila through pictures lang. Third is makarealize sila nga sa world of art ang mga lain-lain nga artist is naay mga kuan lain lahi pud sila nga art styles, strategies or mga methods to make art. For example, si Fernando Amorsolo, Fabian de la Rosa, Carlos Francisco, Vicente Manansala. So the fourth is ma-appreciate sa mga estudyante kung unsa ang kamaayo ang mga artists sa Philippines. And they can also able to describe what makes each artist unique to each other. So the fifth is these sketches and uses complementary colors in painting and landscape. So the sixth learning episode is utilizes skills and knowledge about foreground, middle ground, and background to emphasize deep and landscape painting. So, sa ilang painting, mo gamit sila background, foreground, or middle ground to emphasize and also to make their works beautiful in view. So, the last learning competency is maka-identify or makaila mga estudyante and also they can discuss some details of the landscape significant to the history of the country.
Let's move on to the third quarter. So first is the elements. Line, the thick and thin, the straight, curve, and the jab. And then next is the texture. The ribbed, the fluted, woven, and carved. The second principle is the contrast, the carved, texture areas, and solid areas. The thick, textures line, and fine line. The third is the process. Printmaking, linoleum or rubber print or wood print of a Philippine mythological creature. So in the learning competencies, the learner discusses the richness of the Philippine myths and legends, which is Maria Makiling, Bernardo Carpio, Duende, Capre, Serena, Darna, Duwata, Dalaga, Mangayan, or etc. So it is important that we discuss the richness of the Philippine myths to our students to know the local community in other parts of our country. And second, explore new printmaking technique using a sheet of thin rubber used for soles or shoes, linoleum or any support that can be carved or go to create different lines and texture. So they explore new printmaking techniques. They using rubber thin rubber rather. The third is identify possible uses of the printed artwork. Number 4, show skills in creating linoleum, rubber of wood, cut print with the proper use of carving tools. Number 5 is create variations of the same print by using a different color of ink and printmaking the master plate. The 6th is the follow step-by-step process by creating a print. The sketching the areas to be carved out of the areas that will remain. Carving the image on the rubber of wood using sharp cutting. So using a sharp cut. Then preliminary rubbing. Final inking of the plate with printing ink. And then placing paper over the plate, rubbing the back of the paper. Impressing the print and then repeating the process to get several editions of the print. 7. Works with a class to produce a compilation of their prints and create a book of calendar which they can give as gifts, sell, or display on the walls of the school. And then utilizes contrast in the carved or texture area in artwork. Number 9 is produce several editions of the same print that are well inked and evenly printed. And then the last one is participates in school district exhibition and culminating activity in celebration of the National Art Month.
I'm going to discuss the fourth quarter. These are the elements. The first one is the shape, second one is the color, and the third one is space. Under color are the primary and secondary, and under shape are the geometric and organic. Under space are the distance and area. So the principles are the repetitions and balance. Under repetitions are the colors and shapes. Under balance is structures and shapes. The last one is the process, which is the sculpture and 3D craft. Under that are the mobile, paper mache or day jar with geometric patterns. And the last one is paper beads, which are the bracelet, necklace, earrings, ID, lanyard, or etc. The learning competency of this is the learner identifies the materials used in making three-dimensional craft with repeated variation of shapes and colors. Under that are the mobile, paper mache jar, and paper beads. The second one is the learner is identified the different techniques in making three-dimensional craft. Under that is mobile, paper mache jar, and paper beads. The third one is the learner explores possibilities on the use of created 3D craft. The fourth one is the learner applies knowledge of color, shape, and balance in creating mobile, paper mache jars, and paper beads. The fifth one is the learner displays artistry in making mobiles with varied colors and shapes. The sixth one is the learner creates designs for making three-dimensional crafts, 6.1. Under that is the mobile, paper machine, and paper machine jar and paper beads. The seventh one is the learner shows skills in making paper machine jars. And the last one is the learners create paper beads with artistic designs and varied colors out of old magazine and colored papers for necklace, bracelet, ID, and lanyards. That's all.